Mental illness, take 27. I'm not sure what I was doing yesterday. Obviously I thought I uploaded the full length video, but obviously I uploaded the ones that I didn't want to upload. Anyway, irrelevant. Better take off my sunglasses. Mr. Brett Rolling does not like it when you wear sunglasses in videos. I could understand that. So anyway, what I was going to talk about was my little brother Daniel. And Daniel came to live with me last year. He was 17 at the time, and he wanted to get fit and healthy because at the time I was pretty slim. My husband's fit and healthy. So he asked me what would be the best foods to eat. You know, I was going to be cooking for him. And I gave him the advice I would have given anyone. I told him to go for a low carb, high protein, healthy fat, no sugar diet, quite restricted. And he did it. He followed it better than I ever would. He was eating a lot of boiled eggs, sardines, no sugar. So where is the stimulation coming from? Where is the energy going to come from? Daniel went to drugs. He ended up taking a lot of coffee, alcohol, marijuana. I'm pretty sure he took things like ecstasy on the weekend, maybe worse, nicotine. You know, he smoked a lot of cigarettes because he needed to get a buzz from somewhere, because he wasn't getting any buzz from his food. Because trust me, you don't get a buzz when you eat sardines or eggs, not the way you do when you eat fruit. And it didn't take long for Daniel to lose a lot of weight, and it also didn't take long for Daniel to start to lose his mind. He got really paranoid. He started to get blackouts. He grew obsessed with his appearance, and it's hard to describe what somebody's like when they go crazy. But that's all I can say that Daniel did. He started to really lose his mind. He just grew really paranoid, was probably the best way to describe it, because he was convinced that everybody was out to get him and everything was out to injure him. He ended up burning off his eyelashes and shaved off his eyebrows and shaved his hair because he thought that the hair was trying to poison him in some way. And there was lots of instances like that. He tried to run off on us once. We live near a main road. He nearly got run over by a car. He tried to jump off the building. And there was like a lot of things like that where, I mean, it was fueled by drugs, but it was initiated by the calorie restriction. That's what really started all of this. And you know, in those couple of months where Daniel was taking a lot of drugs, he was calorie restricting the whole time. There was very little food being eaten because he was obsessed. He was obsessed with getting slim. It got to the point where I couldn't look after him, and he was going to do himself an injury. He was found like wandering around the town where I'm from, like naked. Wasn't sure how he got there. Got beaten up by the police that were there at the time. The police here in Portugal are pretty shockingly bad. I'm sure they're like that everywhere. So yeah, Daniel got brought back to Ireland. He got brought to a doctor, and the doctor diagnosed him with depression. And the depression was caused by psychosis. And psychosis is when your subconscious and your conscious mind are amalgamated into one. And he couldn't really tell the difference between what was a thought and what was reality. And none of us could figure it out. None of us could say, you know, what trauma happened in Daniel's life that triggered this, because that's what the doctor said it was going to be. What was the trauma? He was calorie restricting. You know, has anyone ever looked at it? And maybe they have. Maybe doctors do say that sometimes, but I don't know. Daniel went on the medication anyway and started to gain weight really fast, and everybody thought that it was the medication, but really it was because he was just eating and eating and eating and eating. And eventually he ate enough and gained enough weight, because he did blow out quite a lot, that it was like his brain turned back on again, and he suddenly was Daniel. And I don't know, maybe this isn't an example of like the great starvation diet. Maybe it's not, but I really, really think that it is. I think that that's how as simple as it is. You know, I know my mum was kind of thinking almost like, oh, Catherine, you know, do you really think it's that simple? And, well, do you really think it's that intricately difficult? You know, I mean, yeah, okay, the human body is such a wonderful, difficult, don't know, thing, but like it's not that difficult. If you haven't got your food, water and sleep sorted, then how can you even begin to try and sort out anything else? And he hadn't got those things sorted. He was more than likely dehydrated. He was not eating enough, and not eating enough of the right foods, that's for sure. And he barely slept. So yeah, he was going to go crazy. It's as simple as that. And it's not going to come back, Daniel, either. If you stay off the drugs, carb the fuck up, then you're never going to go crazy again. And, you know, I mean, I know I brought this on him. I know that it was my bad advice and I was so misinformed. But I want him to be happy, and I want him to get better. And the only way that's going to happen is if he, you know, he understands that to lose weight, it's not going to come from calorie restricting. You need to eat enough food, because otherwise he is going to end up in the same place he was in before, you know. So mental illness is a funny thing, and I think that people can be mentally ill, but I think that it's often got a simple solution.